What's up, everybody? It's your boy. It's the day after the fight, the Loma Haney fight. And, whoo, boy, what a fight that was. First of all, clap it up for both guys. Both guys put in the work. Both guys had a game plan. They executed. Both guys showed up. Now, I made a prediction about Haney. Haney had a game plan. He took the playbook from Ortiz, Salido, Lopez, and he pressed Loma like a motherfucker in the first 4 rounds. And I was like, Haney's showing something, because I thought that Haney was going to keep Loma at the end of his stick the whole time, and Loma was just going to find a way in. But it was Haney who was pressuring Loma, and Loma did good as well. Loma was able to handle the pressure. Loma was able to, after the fifth round, Haney went back to his old ways of trying to stay on the outside, and Loma was able to get in. Loma was able to hit him with so many straight lefts. It's like, damn. I mean, straight left after straight left. But Haney was going to the body. I give credit where credit is due. Haney was going to the body. Haney was going to the body a lot. Every time Loma went around, tried to get an angle, Haney would hit him to the body, to the torso, uppercut his body. He would punish him for doing that shit. So it was a good fight. And you know, I went against my rules when I put my money up. I'd never put my money up on people who lost. But I did that in this scenario, and I paid the price. Was it a robbery? I mean, it depends on how a robbery is defined. You know, if Devin Haney had just won the fight without knowing anything else, I don't think that would be defined as a robbery, because it was a close fight, and you have to take into consideration Devin Haney was a champion. He had all the belts. He was undisputed. He was also 29-0, and he was fighting Lomachenko, who had lost twice. And Lomachenko's last fight against Jermaine Ortiz, that was I think Loma might have been gifted one in. So, you know, in this sport, you just never know with the judges. So I always say, knock them out. If you leave it up to the judges, you're leaving it up to, you know, who knows who. You know, you're leaving it up to you're saying that letting the coyotes watch the hens when you leave it up to the judges. And knockouts, stoppages, you know, you can't really compete against those unless it's Rolly. And he got a technical knockout when it shouldn't have been a technical. But either way, it's always best to get a knockout. And I think that is something that an amateur and the Ukrainians don't understand, because it takes me back when Usyk beat Joshua. Alexander Usyk is from Ukraine, the same country that Lomachenko is from. And people were like, man, you should have knocked out Joshua. And Alexander Usyk was like, well, I outboxed him for 12 rounds. Well, that may be true. However, you left it in the hand of the judges. I'll refer to Alexander Usyk versus Anthony Joshua. You left it in the hand of the judges. These judges, I don't know what the hell goes on in their mind. I don't know what they're looking at. But back to, was it a robbery? 116, 112. I mean, you gave Loma 4 rounds. Like, how that judge robbed. That judge was motherfucking robbing. That judge was motherfucking robbing. I mean, I'm not taking away anything from Devin Haney. Devin Haney did his job, but the judges, whew, I don't see how Dave Moretti and whoever the hell else had it. Well, I think Dave Moretti had it 116, 112. I don't know. I don't know. You know, we got to talk about accountability. Loma was doing a lot of damage around, I think, 9, 10, and 11. Loma should have didn't have enough to get that. I don't know if he didn't have enough to get Devin Haney out or he wasn't trying to get Devin Haney out. But Loma had a knockdown or knockout, it would have been totally different fight. You know, I'm talking about accountability now. I'm not talking about the judges. I'm talking more about the accountability for the boxer himself. You know, like, you had the opportunity to get a knockdown and you weren't able to do it. You know, Devin Haney was there. He was hurt. And, you know, again, if you leave it up to the judges, this goes back to even the fight that Jose Venezuela versus Chris Colbert. Jose Venezuela even knocked down Chris Colbert and pressed Chris Colbert the whole fight. And I think Jose Venezuela won the whole fight. But the judges gave it to Chris Colbert. I mean, it's robbery. That was blatant robbery. That was gunpoint robbery. That was woo. But again, this happens a lot in boxing. I mean, I'm not surprised. I'm upset, but I'm not surprised because you have this shit going on, and what can be done? A judge, being that boxing is kind of, it's difficult to judge. You know, you have I don't think there's any, I don't even think that there's a rule book for judges. Like, how are these judges judging? Like, what criteria is it? Like, for instance, Tank Davis knocked down Ryan Garcia. Usually that's a 10-8 round. How could a judge give it that round a 10-10 round? Or a 10-9 round, 9-10 round? Like, is it pure opinion? Like, is it purely opinion? That's the part that I don't get. Is it just like, in my opinion, even though he got knocked down, he still won the round. Or he still tied the round. Like, there's got to be some sort of rules, just like a rule of law. You have codes. In basketball, you have out of bounds, you have fouls, you have, of course, they have fouls in boxing too. You know, I'm not even going to talk about how many times Doc Harvey warned Devin about hitting behind the head. I ain't even going to talk about that. I'm not even going to talk about that. But you have rules in boxing. But what are the judges judging? That's the question. And I think that's the problem. You have the, what do you call it? The punch count, CompuBox. You know, you have that. But if there's no guidelines on how to judge a fight, not even guidelines, rules on how to judge a fight, because it can't be 100% opinions. That can't be the case. That should not be the case, right? You just can't say, you know, he got knocked down 3 times. Fighter A got knocked down 3 times. But I like Fighter A, so I'm going to give him the round. Like, that's purely opinion. And is that how boxing judges work? Because I don't get it. But I get it. But I don't get it. I get it because judges have power. Judges have zero accountability. You know, these judges consistently make bad, at least in my opinion, bad scoring, bad judgment. So how can this be improved? The only way I can see that it can be improved is that there needs to be points. There needs to be points. And not just at the end of the round points, because that's opinions. If there are no points during the round, you just can't say at the end of the round it's 10-9 or it's 10-10 or it's 8-10. There has to be points during the round that need to be counted. Hard head shot, hard body shot. Soft head shot, soft body shot. 2 points, 1 point. Add up all the points at the end of the round. Now I know it's hard to score it like this live because, you know, when I'm analyzing a fight or preparing a fight, researching a fighter, I sit there and I count how many lefts a fighter throws, how many rights a counter throws, how many combinations a counter throws. Are they moving forward? Are they moving backwards? And I have to hit pause and rewind. And was that a left or a right? And was that a headshot? Was that 2 punches, 3 punches? It's fast. So pointing throughout a round is difficult. However, it needs to be done. It needs to be done. We need, as fans, we need to know what the judges saw. We need to know what the judges counted during the round. We need to know that. That needs to be documented live. No ifs, ands, or buts. No, and the reason I say this is because, for example, let's apply this. let's say you have a fight. Uh, let's go back and try to justify the 10-10 round of Gervonta Davis knocking down Ryan Garcia in the second round. Now, if that judge said documented Ryan Garcia hit Tank with 10, 12, 20 headshots, which let's say they equate to a point per headshot, head punch. This judge says Ryan caught Tank with 20 headshots. And Tank got the knockdown, which equates to 20 points. In that situation, in that scenario, you can have it a 10-10 round. And nobody bats an eye to that judge, because he says that he saw 20 headshots from Ryan to Tank. And even though Tank knocked down Ryan, that just evened out the score. But you have to have it documented. You have to have it documented. And the reason why is because this judge says that Ryan hit Tank 20 times in the head, and the other two judges like, oh, we didn't see it. Or maybe the one that scored a 10-10 was the only one paying attention, and the other two judges were on their phone tweeting. And the 10-10 judge had it right. And the other two judges had it wrong. The other two judges who scored at a 10-8 round had it wrong. They can go back. We can look at the documentation. And the other two judges, when they were tweeting, Ryan was tagging Tank in the head, counting points. And that judge who scored a 10-10 was right the whole time. But we would not be able to justify it unless it was documented during the fight. It's like, show your work. Show how you got this answer. Just like in school, you have to write down how you got your answer, so the teacher would know you didn't just copy somebody else's end result, right? Show your work. So in boxing, there needs to be points and documentation. Hey, I saw 20 headshots. I saw 5 body shots from fighter A. Even if you're just watching fighter A. Now again, I know this is tough. It's going to be tough. Especially the first few fights. Because you could be zoned in on one fighter's offense and not the other fighter's offense. So again, boxing is tough. Because you can't see, did that punch land? Was it a hard punch? Was it a soft punch? You know, all of that kind of needs to be taken into equation. But at the same time, if it's documented and one judge says 2 shots to the stomach and the other judge says only 1 shot to the stomach, that's okay. That's understandable. Even if it's a plus minus, like if one judge says fighter A got hit 20 times and the other judge says fighter A got hit 12 times, you know, you can kind of see, as long as they document it, that's all we ask for. Because us fans want to know what you saw. And it needs to be documented in a way that everybody can see it. Now, and it needs to be proven that it was documented. So you can't go back and say, at the end of the fight, and say, oh, I want to go back to round 1 and change, the score. Once you document it, it's there. Now it can be private all the way until the end of the fight. At the end of the fight, it needs to be revealed what was documented. And this can only be solved by having a way that each judge documents the outcome, or how they got the outcome of each round. Because just saying 10-10, 9-10, 8-10, that's not good enough. Not in these days. Not when we have slow motion. Not when we have instant replays. Not when we have CompuBox. Not when we have all this technology. All this technology at our disposal. We have so much. We have slow motion. We have rewind, replays. And you don't have to do it like stop the fight to do it. You do it in between rounds. You go back. You go, was that a punch? Let's replay that. Boom, 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 boom. All right. So, and you could even do it verbally. You can even do it verbally. As long as it's documented, you say, all right, let's pretend I'm Judge A. All right. A1, A2. Every time you see a shot that affects you or you think landed, you say 1 landed punch. Fighter A, 2 combination. Fighter B, 3 combination. Fighter A, 2 combination. You can do that verbally and then tally it up at the end. All this is possible. But you just saying Fighter A won the round 10-10 even though he got knocked down. That's unacceptable. That's unacceptable in any job, in any situation where you just say, that's just like a police officer saying, here's a $50 ticket. I'm not going to tell you what you did wrong, but here's a $50 ticket, and I'll leave. And that's basically what this boxing is. That's basically what it is. Fighter A won round. Not going to say how. Moving on to the next one. That's why it needs to be documented. Just like when a officer gives you a ticket, they say, hey, I saw you speeding in a 45 mile per hour zone. Here's a $100 ticket. Sign here and keep it moving. Well, in boxing, it should be, I saw 5 headshots from Fighter A, 6 headshots from Fighter B, 0 body shots from either fighter. Fighter B won the round. That's how it should. That's how it's going to be moving forward. Okay. Judges need to show their work. At the beginning of this video, I talked about the importance of boxers knocking out their opponents to avoid taking it to the judges. Now I'm talking about judges who need to document how they came to the conclusion that they did. You just can't say 10-9. No. It needs to be documented. It needs to be recorded for everybody to see. Now, everybody doesn't need to see it live. but it needs to be recorded. And at the end of the fight, if it goes to the judges, we can go back. The judge can say, here's what I saw. And he could say, I saw 10 shots, headshots, or 20 headshots. And the fighter B got knocked down, but because the fighter B did 10 headshots, it's a 10-10 round. He puts that out there, and it's reviewed, and the commission says, hey, it was really 19 headshots that landed, but it's plus or minus 5, 6s. It's okay. But what's not acceptable is not giving any sort of justification or rationalization on how you got a 10-10 round, or a 9-10 round, or even an 8-10 round. Yes, it's going to take a lot of work. Yes, it's going to take trial and error. But this is the only way that points can be counted during the fight. Besides just, who's to say these judges aren't on their phone text messaging people and just saying, oh, all right, that fighter has a lot of sweat, so he must have did a lot of something that round, so we're gonna give that round to him. Then go back to tweeting and text messaging on their phone during the fight. We don't know. I don't even know who these judges. Where are they sitting? Are they sitting fucking up in nosebleeds? Are they sitting in the corners? Where the hell are these judges even at? Like, if we know where they're at, and maybe their view is blocked, maybe the way the fight is situated, the referee's back is to the judge, and the judge can't see the fighters. But we wouldn't know that because we don't know where the fuck these judges are. We don't know where they're sitting. We don't know any of that stuff. So, oh boy. Now, I did some research about could this fight be, the decision be reversed? Well, I think that the word could and can are weasel words. While technically, yes, it can happen, but it has never happened. There's no precedent for a unanimous decision being reversed. And that makes sense because, again, if you have all three judges saying fighter A won, and a commission comes and says fighter B won, then what the hell's the point of having judges? It undermines the judges. So this fight is not going to be overturned. The results aren't going to be overturned. They can appeal it to their face turns blue. There's no precedence for it. And it was a wide margin that a judge gave it to him. So how unless the commissioner or the commission justifies it by counting the points during the match and saying Lomachenko hit Devin Haney, not CompuBox, but they saw Lomachenko land 20 punches and Devin Haney landed 5 punches. And even still, what's the plus minus? Because us fans don't expect judges to be perfect. Except in the court of law. Because it's basically black and white. But we expect some sort of I don't want to say consistency. What am I looking for? We want to know that the judges are in our reality. We don't want the judges we don't want them coming or being on planet, even though planets don't exist, but being on the other side of the world. Like, if most fans have it 10-8 and the judge says it's 10-10, that's like, what the fuck? Where were they? Were they in a different arena? Were they in the nosebleeds? Did this card come from where did this card come from? Now, if it's a 10-9, you're like, okay, we'll be more understanding, because everybody had it 10-8 and the judge says 10-9. I mean, that's 1 point. So, okay, we'll score them up our face. We'll make a sour face, but it'll be more easily accepted than a 10-8, right? I'm sorry, than a 10-10. So sometimes these judges don't even seem like they're watching the same fight, or they have other motives. You know what I'm saying? So I'm doing more than the other commentators, than the other spectators, by simply just complaining. I'm providing a solution to the problem. We have to have some sort of justification to how you concluded the scoring of that round, of each round. Instead of just saying 10-9, because you could have been on your phone. You have to say, oh, he hit him with a overhand right that pushed him back or some shit. So that's basically all I have to say. You know, I'm upset, I'm tight. Of course, I put money on the fight. But I don't see how the judges got it 116, 112. I don't see how it was unanimous. You know, if it was a split decision, I'd be like, all right. I'd be like, all right. But a unanimous decision, 116, 112, that has too many question marks. So, all right, that's about it there. I mean, nothing more to say, you know. I fucked up. I put my money on someone. I went against my own rules. I said, don't put money up on somebody who's lost. And the Loma, he should have knocked out. There was no robbery with Loma versus Nakatani. You know why there was no claims of a robbery? Because Loma knocked Nakatani out. Nakatani didn't want to continue. Nakatani ended up on his knees. Loma, Comey, that was, again, you knocked Comey down, once, twice? And Even though that could have been a robbery, it wasn't anywhere, you know. But again, you have to, from the fighter's point of view, don't let this shit go to the scorecards. You have to knock them out. Because if you let the shit go to the scorecards, to the judges, them shits just get mailed in from Timbuktu, and it's like flipping coins. Like, you never know what's on those cards. We don't know what the hell, how they got those numbers, where they came from, or any of that shit. So you have to knock them out. If you don't knock them out, then you're saying, hey, here's the judge. You know, my fate is in the hand of the judges. So that's it for this video. Again, good fight for Devin Haney and Lomachenko. There's nothing, I mean, you all did what you all could do. Am I upset about the outcome? The results? Yes. Do I think the right man won the fight? No. Do I think this would be reversed? No. Have I learned my lesson? Yeah. Don't trust boxing until they clean this shit up. And I'm out.